Back again, once again, for another mock. This time we take a look at the Goat House's mock draft. They just released one last week, so we're going to take a gander at that. I'm going to give you my opinions on that mock draft. If you haven't checked out Goat House, they are phenomenal. They're a much bigger channel than I, and they got a lot of awesome football takes, so I'm going to leave a link to them in the description below. And yeah, I'll be doing my own NFL mock draft this week, hopefully Wednesday, with the game being pushed back. I don't know, I'll get it out to you Friday. Regardless, you'll get a video Wednesday. I'll just give you my 2017 NFL redraft, because that one was a lot of fun and very, very tough, actually. But, yeah. What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So, go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the video. A subscription, it's free. Don't do it for you, do it for me. I could have been a rapper, but I'm out here doing mock drafts because I love the NFL draft. If you haven't already checked out the Flick Sports app, it's just go on Google Play or whatever store you have and check out Flick Chat. It's basically sports Discord. I'm at the Never Too Early draft group. There'll be a link for it in the description below. And we just talk sports, NFL draft prospects, stuff like that. It's load fun. I'm trying to get that to 100 members. So help your boy out. And yeah, I think without further ado, let's go ahead and do the diggity dang thing. So we're going to switch over here, and here it is. They're starting with Trevor Lawrence to the Jets. I don't disagree. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. Sam Darnold, he's broken. Adam Gase is probably gone, so just get your new franchise quarterback. Kind of same thing with the Jaguars. I mean, they just fired Caldwell, their GM, today. So getting Justin Fields, get in the face of your franchise, it just makes sense. The Bengals, Penei Sewell, that totally makes sense. I mean, with Burrow going out of injury, I mean, that guy took so many hits this year. Yeah, you need to protect your quarterback. Just makes sense. He's easily one of the best prospects in this draft at the tackle position. And then this is where things, I think, get a little dicey for me, because the Cowboys going Patrick Surtain. I really would, if I were in this position for the Cowboys, I would consider, and I really wanted a corner, I would consider trading down. And there's a few things, because like I don't like Patrick Surtain. I think Caleb Farley is right up there with him. The problem I have with Surtain going to the Cowboys is the Cowboys, it took them like half the season just to figure out how to properly use Trevon Diggs. The dude's a press corner, yet they would have him in off coverage. And people are like, man, he's bad. Look at him getting beat. No, they just ain't using him properly. And guess what? Patrick Surtain, he kind of comes from the same type. He's cut from the same cloth as Diggs. Coming from Alabama, he's an extremely good press corner. I don't want to see them, if they're going to use Surtain similar to Diggs. And I'm not saying they're the same prospect, because they're not. But still, I don't think that's how you use them. They might be better off with Farley. Regardless, I think you trade down this pick, because those two, I think 4 is a bit too high, and you could probably peddle, you know, teams that are trying to get the Zach Wilson, the Trey Lance, and whatnot. But in a mock draft, often you can trade down, so I kind of understand it. But I think a variety of ways you could go with the Cowboys pick, and I don't oppose this one too much. Washington football team. I almost said the name that shall not be named. But they get Zach Wilson, makes sense. Alex Smith, I mean, he's just check down city at this point. You saw it on Thanksgiving. They'll get your quarterback of the future. Wilson, he's got a phenomenal arm. Great arm talent on this kid. The guy can make any throw. I mean, just to see the power behind his arm. Like, he made a throw earlier in the season off his back foot that I swear flew for like 6 yards. It was just wild. And then the Chargers going Kwity Paye out of Michigan. This is the first time I've seen in a mock draft someone having Kwity Paye go over Gregory Rousseau. Finally, man, if someone on board with my line of thinking. The thing is with Gregory Rousseau and Kwity Paye, Gregory Rousseau, I think I get why he opted out. You know, family and stuff like that. It makes sense. But what he needed to do this year was show development in his technique, show more pass rush tools. Because all we got is upside. Then without that development, all he is upside. Freakish frame and upside. Kwity Paye was kind of going into the season with the same thing. Ridiculous athletic upside, but We need more tools, and we need more pass rush moves in that toolbox. We need to see more development and technique. He came into 2020. He did that for 3 games. It was like, all right, I showed you I can do it. Peace. Opted out, and it's just, for me, Pay did what Russo needed to do. So that's why I currently have Pay over Russo. As far as the Chargers pick here, I mean, yeah, okay, Melvin Ingram's going to be a free agent, and I guess you can say, like, oh, the offensive tackle talent here, it's not worth it. I don't know about that, because Samuel Cosme is, in my opinion, he's pretty solid. Even Darius Saw out of Virginia Tech, I think, would be tempting here. But I guess I get Pay. Like, the dude's going to blow up the combine. He's going to be very highly sought out, so it makes sense. And then Micah Parsons to the Giants. Yeah, makes sense. Totally does. I mean, he's kind of a Joe Judge type of guy. He brings pretty ridiculous pass rush from the linebacker position. He'd be an upgrade, I say, over Blake Martinez, but I mean, you could probably start him right next side of Blake Martinez. So, okay, yeah, I'm down for that. And then here's another curveball. Trey Lance to the Falcons. I mean, do you really start grooming Matt Ryan's replacement right now? Why not grab some talent? I mean, I would say you could even go Gregory Rousseau here. You go Caleb Farley. I think defense is huge. So, I mean, trying to address the defense there, because the defense, man, is outside of this past Raiders game, the defense hasn't been shutting anybody down. So, I don't know about that one. On to the next picks here. He has Jamar Chase going to the Dolphins. Makes sense. I mean, Preston Williams? Yeah, Preston Williams. I don't know if he's a number 2. So, I don't even know if Devontae Parker's a number 1. So, I mean, grabbing Chase, grabbing 2 of some weapons is kind of key here. You could say offensive line. Jamar Chase, though, I have him higher than the other offensive line talent in this draft. So, I mean, you could go a variety of different spots here, but I think Chase is kind of the no-brainer. The Panthers, though, getting Kyle Pitts is a bit intriguing. I mean, okay, the top quarterbacks are kind of off the board here. So you start and what they did in last year's draft, the 2020 draft, they used defense for all their picks. So, okay, kind of makes sense. Kyle Pitts, I think he's a top 10 prospect. The dude's phenomenal. Coming back from his concussion this week, or like he suffered a few weeks ago. Coming back, he just put on another display, another show. I love the guy. You could throw him out wide. You could put him in the slot. You could put him in line because he's pretty good pass blocker as well. And I mean, you're just going to be adding more weapons for Teddy there because you don't have to move on off from Teddy right now. So, yeah, I'm kind of cool with that. Then Kyle Trask to the Lions. Very interesting. Kyle Trask, I still kind of feel mid to late first round pick for him. I mean, quarterbacks get overdrafted. That's just the name of the game. So it makes sense him going off the board at 11. But to Detroit, Matthew Stafford, are you really? I mean, I guess Matt Patricia's gone, so why not start just rebuilding, you know? I had a comment in my last video that said, I look like Matt Patricia, which I replied, do I look unemployed? Ooh, what a joke. I just wanted to get that joke out there. I thought that was a pretty funny comeback. But I guess, yeah, okay, Trask, he's very sexy, very appealing to the NFL because he's got prototypical size, prototypical arm strength. And he's done a lot of things this season that he needed to show. Didn't you see it in his first season as starter in 2019? But I mean, do you move off from Matthew Stafford right now? I guess that doesn't necessarily mean you have to, but I don't know. I think the Lions are in a very interesting position at this point. And then Caleb Farley goes to the Vikings. I don't dispute this. You know, you keep adding talent to a problem position until you get it right. That's what the Buccaneers did for years until they got the corner position right. Jeffrey Gladney, he had problems jumping Cameron Dantzler on the depth chart. You know, and it's not like their secondaries had a great season. They really haven't. I think, honestly, Dantzler shined a lot more than Gladney. So just keep throwing very talented corners at this position until you get it right. Gregory Rousseau going to the Patriots here. Patriots, man, just missing out on all the quarterbacks. That sucks. But they get a very talented pass rusher here. I don't know if it's necessarily a position they need because Chris Winovic's been pretty solid. I mean, where else do you go from here? Maybe grab one of the receivers that actually has after the catch ability. I mean, you would love to not move on from Cam Newton, but at least get someone that could eventually replace him because I don't think Stidham's that guy. But again, all the cornerbacks are off the board. I mean, Russo's really good value here, so I'm not against it. Wyatt Davis, I think going a bit early. Wyatt Davis, he's not having exactly the season I hope he would, or hoped that he would. I thought this guy could have been Quentin Nelson-esque this season. I mean, it looks like he's had to shake some rust off the tires. He's looking much better, but I don't think he's a top 10 guy. But I mean, here at 14, I mean, I think even Elijah Vera Tucker is actually a better fit here for the Niners, just because of all that athleticism he has. I mean, interior is big, not exactly a huge need for the Niners. I think you could definitely address the secondary, especially when he had Jace Horn being, or J.C. Horn being the next pick here. So I mean, addressing the corner position, I think would be really nice here as well. But I mean, it's not a bad pick. I think it's just a very safe pick. But then the Broncos, they go J.C. Horn. I'm cool with that. The guy, very athletically talented. I think he's a way better prospect than his counterpart, Israel Mugwamu. The guy, he decided to opt out after showing off some ball skills in the last like 3 games. So Denver, they go here. They could go, honestly, another team that could go a variety of ways. They could be looking at a quarterback if it's available. J.C. Horn, though, I think is a solid pick. He is definitely a guy that's going to fly up boards for teams. And Devontae Smith going to the Bears, solid. Sucks Bears fans. You miss out on a quarterback apparently again. But going here, I mean, Allen Robinson, it kind of feels like he's not coming back. You know, it might be like, oh no, he'll resign. Nah, I don't know about that. So I think receiver is your next biggest need after quarterback. You could also say offensive line. I mean, especially with guys like Darius Saw, I think would be a really good fit here on the board. But I mean, I won't dispute Devontae Smith is a very talented individual. Only questions about obviously is his size, or at least his size need to add weight to his frame, because a lot of the things he does good, you know, very physical at the catch point, very good off release, off press. You know, will that translate at his size in the NFL? You know, you're dealing with much more physical guys. So I think for me, I mean, still Smith is going to be, I think he could be a top 15 guy regardless. But just, again, you want to put out those concerns, you know what you're dealing with. All right, let's head to the next. He's got Rashaan Slater going to the Dolphins here. But he puts offensive line. Let my boy play tackle. Everyone's like, he's got short arms. He's got to move to guard. Well, guess what? For 3 seasons, he's been freaking phenomenal at tackle, at left and right tackle. The guy had a pretty decent game against Chase Young. Get off his back. Let him play tackle. I don't know if he's gonna be. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna be in the first round though. Like, because the combine's just, I think, just gonna hurt him because of those short arms, and especially see what his hands measure out at. But I don't think he shouldn't have opted out of the season. I mean, I think that just means, hey, you're day 2. You're just going to be a day 2 pick. So him going to 17 is a bit surprised. He's a name that's actually been pretty hot the last few weeks for a lot of mock drafts. I don't know if they're just trying to, you know, switch up the flavor. But ahead of guys like Darius Saw and Cosme, I think is a bit outlandish. But I don't know, the Dolphins, they do need some help, especially at the tackle position. Because, I mean, Austin Jackson, yes, you could develop him some more. It's rookie year. He's flashed at some points. But I really think Robert Hunt needs to move into guard. And then Jalen Waddle going to the Ravens. Honestly, I was having this discussion on the Flick Chat app, which, hey, if you haven't checked that out, you really should, about what should the Ravens do. And I was like, you know, they could go receiver, but they have enough guys that are pretty explosive after the catch and really spread the field vertically. I mean, in Duvernay and Brown, those are 2 guys by themselves. But I think they really need to get, if they really do want to explore receiver again, is a big-bodied receiver, a good contested catch guy for Lamar Jackson. And Jalen Waddle just ain't that. He's just more of the same of what they have there in Baltimore. And honestly, I think Duvernay, he's solid there in the slot if they do go to 3 wide packages. So I don't know. You could go defense, you could go interior because Verituk is still around. I mean, 18 might be a bit rich, but he's a very, very good prospect. So Waddle, the talent though, I mean, the talent's just mwah. I love Waddle. So we got the Eagles. They going Jeremiah Owusu Kawamura. The dude's a monster out of Notre Dame. The guy's just physically, athletically, just very gifted. I would love to see him add a little more weight, but the NFL is kind of moving more to these guys, more to these linebackers that are more safety than linebacker, just because you're dealing with a lot more 3 to 4 wide receiver sets in the NFL nowadays. So you're trying to keep speed on the field to deal with speed. So it kind of makes sense. But Mora, he is that dude. That Clemson game was just bonkers. Shaun Wade, I'm a bit surprised to see Shaun Wade here in the first round. I don't dispute, the Cardinals, they need another corner there, definitely. But Shaun Wade, right now, he just, for me, I think so many corners have shined so much better than he has this season. I'm not saying, like, he's definitely looked much better, more comfortable on the outside after that Penn State game, but it's just not there. It's not there yet for me. I think guys like Eric Stokes, Tyson Campbell from Georgia, Darion Kendrick from Clemson, Asante Samuel Jr. from Florida State have looked much better. And then Rashad Bateman going to the Raiders. Adding receiving talent, I think that's a bit questionable here. I think that defense needs to, whether it's the pass rush, maybe grabbing some other guys in the secondary, needs to be addressed. Needs to be addressed. I mean, offensively, if you're really going to make a move, you could make a case for Derek Carr. But again, at this point, what you're grabbing, maybe Mac Jones, Jamie Newman, which that dude, he's day 2 all the way. Unfortunately, decided not to play. But yeah, I mean, Bateman's really good value here. I think he's not the most athletic of probably like the top 5 or 6 receivers in this class, but the guy is an intermediate weapon through and through. He's got some good after the catch ability. I like him. Alex Leatherwood still kind of puzzles me. Alex Leatherwood kind of in a down season. Again, going to Tampa Bay here. Kind of in a down season, going over guys like Cosme and Darisaw. Kind of puzzles me, but to each their own, as they say. But Tampa Bay going with another tackle after grabbing Wirfs. I mean, Smith's still on that. What, I don't know how many years are left on his contract. I mean, I don't know if they can move on from him, but I mean, I think he could go other places here, definitely. There's a man by the name, again, Ronald Jones, though, he's blowing up this season. But Travis Etienne, oh my gosh, that guy is, I love me some Travis Etienne. But, I mean, you got guys like Christian Barmore still on the board if you want to improve that defensive front a little bit. I mean, they got very good linebackers in town. I mean, you could go, I said very good linebackers, very good defensive talent up front. But, I mean, still Dominic Sue. He's a free agent after the season, I believe. Shaq Barrett, JPP. I mean, are those guys going to be around next season? JPP will probably be. He's been, wow, phenomenal, man. Like a fine wine, just gets better with age. But do you address the pass rush position there? And I mean, I guess I get it. Maybe you're looking for immediate starters now with now having only 1 season left of Tom Brady. I just don't know. I don't know. I think there's other places you could go here. Liam Eichenberg, a bit surprised to see him pop up at 23 here. I think he's going to be stuck at right tackle because he's a guy that he does have some real athletic limitations. And I get the move with Anthony Costanzo probably retiring at the end of his contract, which he has still 1 more year after this draft. But, I mean, then what's the plan there? Are you moving Braden Smith to left tackle? Because Eichenberg, I don't think he will survive on the left. He's got a Mitchell Schwartz upside with how good of a technician Eichenberg is, but I mean, I don't know, man. You know, moving. I'm not a big fan of moving guys to the other, like moving offensive linemen to the other side of the line. If they're playing right tackle, let them play right tackle. You know, because you definitely play the position a lot differently on the other side. So, and again, Christian Darrisaw still on the board. Samuel Cosmi still on the board. Dylan Moses going to the Browns here. I don't think Dylan Moses is a first-round pick after this season. Like, his athletic ability, huge, freakish athletic ability, could only take you so far. He's been terrible in coverage. Granted, he's been playing more in the middle of the defense, but yeah, man, he's just been a big liability in coverage, and coverage matters in the NFL. And Dylan Moses, I think, is stuck at day 2 at this point. I wouldn't go him in the first round, especially with, I mean, you could go safety, you could go corner for goodness sake here, you could go wide receiver. This is a very gifted class at wide receiver. You know what? Rondale Moore, Amon-Ra St. Brown are still on the board here. I'm probably missing somebody because there's a load of receivers in this class. So, yeah, Moses, I don't like that pick, but again, to each their own, I suppose. And then on to layer part, and wow, dude, did I just miss Samuel Cosmi in this thing? Like, let me take a look at this, because I'm surprised that he doesn't have Samuel Cosmi as a first rounder. That really blows my mind. He does have Darrisaw here though, so we'll talk about that when we talk about that. Joseph Asai out of Texas, a guy definitely starting to move up boards. Very good. He's not the best athlete in this class, but he's got a ridiculous bend. He has experience in playing as a stand-up pass rusher, dropping into coverage. But he's at his best when he is rushing the passer. He's done it very well. So you know what? I'm cool with that. Kadarius Toney, this is way too rich for me. You're drafting. This is probably going to be a slot only guy at the next level. It's just too rich. I mean, I think I currently have a 3rd round grade on Toney, but yeah, 1st round, man, that's just too rich for me. I mean, what do they think they're getting the next Randall Cobb here? I don't know. Eric Stokes going to the Titans out of Georgia. This is a guy flying up a lot of boards since the beginning of the year. He's very good. I mean, I'm not surprised to see him ahead of his teammate Tyson Campbell, where Tyson Campbell, I think he's probably got more upside in terms of his athleticism. Stokes has just been way more consistent. Trey Smith going to the Bills kind of makes sense. Surprised not to see Vera Tucker here. But I mean, Smith, he's way more physical and way more of a powerhouse than Vera Tucker. But yeah, the Bills, kind of the problem position right now is the guard play. They saw Spain go. They released him earlier in the season, and then Cody Ford's just not been it. Christian Darrisaw going to the Jaguars. Makes sense. Cam Robinson probably needs to be replaced. Hate to say it. Although he's been much better this season. But again, I mean, are you going to sign him for the long term? I don't think so. Darrisaw, I think he's going to, by the end of, like, when it's all said and done, he's going to end up in the top 15. The guy is a very good, massive. I mean, he won't blow you off. What? He won't like blow your mind with his play. He's not gonna lay guys out. The dude's just consistency. He's done it for like last 3 seasons at Tech. Chris. Oh, and I straight up. No, I mixed this up. Wow, Darrisaw going to the Chiefs. They went Christian Barmore to the Jags. I mean, I get it, adding talent, but Davion Hamilton's been solid. I mean, Christian Barmore will play more of like the 3-tech role, but I mean, what? And plus him going at 29, what? So I guess let's talk about Darrisaw going to the Chiefs. I guess, I mean, Eric Fisher, you could obviously improve upon. So yeah, makes sense. Rondale Moore going to the Saints. Ooh, rich get richer at this point, man. I mean, I would love. It kind of makes sense to get an after the catch, just weapon for Drew Brees, as he's getting on in years, and the arm strength just ain't there. Kind of makes sense. But Rondale Moore, man, I think he's flirting with day 2 at this point, just because in his debut, actually in his last 2 games, he hasn't really, he's kind of just gone down after contact. He's shown nothing after contact. This is not the same guy we saw in his freshman season when in terms of that. So I'm gonna have to see a bit more broken tackles from him, you know. So we'll see. But the dude, again, he's electric. A guy that could instantly shoot back up boards, especially mine. And then the Steelers, they're going Travis Etienne. I love it. I'm loving it, man. James Conner, he's fine, but he ain't Etienne, dude. They have lightning in a bottle. They have Anthony McFarland out of Maryland. He ain't Etienne, dude. Travis Etienne is a freaking animal. This dude's a monster. I'm not personally big on running backs going to the first round. He is an exception for me. I would be willing to go as high as like maybe 15 to 16 area for Etienne. He's a guy that can impact the passing game. Anytime he touches the ball, he can go the distance. He's a broken tackle machine. The guy's a monster. But yeah, that's it for the video, man. My overall take, I liked it. I think there were some interesting takes there. I mean, Tony in the first round kind of surprised me. Also, where the hell is Samuel Cosme? What did he do? Whose mama did he talk bad about at Goat House? But yeah, go ahead, check them out, and do the whole YouTube thing. Remember, we got stuff going on the rest of the week here on Broshmo, so tune in. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.